Last year, despite being the defending champions, the Golden State Warriors really struggled throughout the year. Their main players were injured a lot, and they didn't have the required players to help them win. This year, however, it seems things have finally gotten back on track. Today, we're going to be talking about the hidden genius of the Golden State Warriors. I know what you all must be thinking. What is the hidden genius of the Warriors? Was this hidden genius the sole reason behind their championship run? Well, stick around to the end as we answer these questions and more as we delve into the various intricacies surrounding the new and improved Warriors. So now, without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the biggest reason why the Warriors have been killing it for so many years. And yes, folks, you guessed it right. I am talking about the one and only Steph Curry. At the age of 35, Steph continues to defy age and expectations. People keep talking about how LeBron is performing at such an age, but they tend to forget that Steph has been even better for someone of his age. He's been setting the court ablaze with his incredible performances, consistently scoring over 30 points per game, including jaw-dropping 30-foot bombs. And you know what the best part is? His recent form suggests he's only getting better with age. So you can bet whatever hidden genius the Warriors might have, every recent success they've had, and every success they will have in the next 3 years at least, will be mostly because of Steph. And looking at his form this season so far, I think he could even lead the Warriors to another championship. Now let's talk about their star trade for this season. And yeah, I'm talking about the one and only Chris Paul. The addition of CP3 to the Warriors roster was met with some skepticism given his age. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? When you're trading a young gun like Jordan Poole for someone who is at the end of their career, people will always criticize you. Moreover, we knew that Jordan Poole had everything: the talent, the tenacity, and the clutch mentality. It's no wonder that they called him the third Splash Brother. However, through the first 4 games of the season, CP3 has proven his worth, averaging 11 points and 8 assists per game while stabilizing the team's bench. This is something that Poole could never do right now, as it's going to take some time for him to mature that much. When you have Steph as the primary guard, your second guard must be the one who can handle the second team, the team that rotates off the bench. Quite simply put, Poole couldn't do that, and hence the Warriors got Chris Paul, and it was clearly the right call, as the impact he's had on the Warriors is undeniable. And speaking of the bench, last season the Warriors struggled with their bench performance. As you all know, they had a young bench, so you couldn't really rely on players like Poole and Kaminga to perform with young players without any experience. But this year, it's an entirely different story. Besides getting an experienced player like Chris Paul, the bench players have improved a lot too, with players like Kaminga, Moody, and Gary Payton II stepping up their game, making a significant difference. And that's not all, because they've also opted for new players like Dario Saric, who provides extra physicality and height off the bench. So now the Warriors can adequately rest their starting 5 in between games, without the worry that their bench will choke the game. This goes a long way in determining games and will play a huge role in the Warriors' success this year. But now that's all the obvious stuff. Let's talk about the hidden genius we've been talking about. While Chris Paul and the improved bench have been pivotal, a hidden gem on the Warriors roster is someone who, when he reaches his potential, will be unstoppable. Know who we're talking about? Drum roll please. I am talking about Trayce Jackson-Davis. Yes, folks, you heard that right. He's proving himself to be an NBA caliber player and making valuable contributions to this team's success, particularly on both ends of the court. And given how much the Warriors struggle on the physicality and height element of the game, he's the perfect player for the Warriors, both in the short term as a backup to players like Looney and Saric, and in the long term too, potentially becoming a future superstar. And we've also got to talk about that partnership between Chris Paul and Steph Curry. The two talented veterans already have a ton of chemistry and have started to work well together whenever they share the court. But what was most prominently obvious was their pick and roll combinations. Pick and rolls were already something that the Warriors were pretty decent at, and after signing CP3, who we all know as a master of pick and roll, it could really change the game for the Warriors. The two together show real promise, and as the season progresses, their chemistry is likely to become even more dangerous for opponents. Just imagine the two of them dancing through defenses, using each other or bigger players like Draymond, Looney, and Saric to crack down on tough defenses with a simple tool like the pick and roll. And speaking of Draymond, let's talk about his contribution to the Warriors, especially on the defensive side of things. For years, his impact to the Golden State Warriors extends far beyond the box score. His defensive prowess is the linchpin that holds the team's defensive scheme together. We've seen Draymond's strength and agility on full display play against some of the best dominant players in the league, including Zion Williamson. While guarding Zion, Draymond's exceptional defensive IQ forced him to adapt. He's not just trying to block shots though, he's fundamentally changing the way his adversaries play. I am telling you, the unquantifiable impact of Draymond Green's defense is what makes him an essential element of the Warriors' success. His basketball IQ and physicality combine to make him one of the greatest defenders in NBA history. With Draymond on the court, the Warriors are better equipped to shut down their opponents and maintain their status as one of the league's top defensive teams. I know a lot of people don't like him, but his defensive ability will always be unmatched. And like him or not, that's hard to deny. But one player alone does not make up a good defense. In order to win games, you need a core of good defenders that can stop their opponent's scoreboard from ticking. With a healthy roster of players like Gary Payton II and Andrew Wiggins and young talents like Jonathan Kaminga and Moses Moody, the Warriors are poised to have an elite defense once again. Sure, these players were with them previously as well, but Wiggins was mostly injured, and Kaminga and Moody were not as developed and trained as they are right now. You can bet they have been working hard this summer. But the defense isn't just about them. The Warriors also have invested in players like Saric, who's going to help them with blocking and rebounding shots at their side of the court. This bodes well for their championship aspirations. They say that offense might win you games, but it's a defense that wins you championships. Steve Kerr has one of the best defensive units in the league. Let's see how he utilizes them and helps the Warriors raise a championship once again. In the end, I would just like to say that the Golden State Warriors are writing a new chapter in their storied history, blending the brilliance of Steph Curry's shooting with the veteran leadership of Chris Paul. You better bet they have a huge chance of winning another ring this season. The improved bench, highlighted by emerging talents like Trace Jackson-Davis and the defensive prowess of Draymond Green, have turned the Warriors into a formidable force once again, maybe even better than the one that got them a ring a couple of years ago. With the potential for an elite defense and the unstoppable nature of Steph Curry's game-changing performances, the Warriors look primed to make a deep playoff run this season. Keep a close eye on this team. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. They might just be the hidden genius that dominates the NBA this season. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.